Mortgage Business Uncut. Your weekly analysis of the biggest themes shaping the Australian mortgages market.
G'day, how you going? This is a special broadcast, Phil.
Well, they make me nervous, special broadcasts.
No, they shouldn't do. You should be relaxed.
Yeah. There's a lot of people been tuning into this podcast, and one thing they'd probably say is that I'm not relaxed when it comes about mortgages and mortgage broking.
Well, this is a special broadcast, special podcast. I've got a few things that I'm just excited to share with our audience. I thought, how better to do it than over the broadcast?
Well, it's a good way to. I've been really surprised about the growth of Mortgage Business Uncut, and it's really resonating with the industry. So it's a good way to communicate with people because it's accessible and can be a lot more authentic when you're on a podcast rather than a written piece of information.
This is very true. Yeah, the podcast has been good. It's good fun with yourself and Annie. And we've had various other journalists jump in over the years. And Mortgage Business has been, a valuable and important and a very influential publication. But it's time to change, Phil.
Oh, I guess most people say I'm comfortable with change.
Yeah.
I like change. Change is good. Change is brilliant.
But it is time to change. Having worked in mortgage media, the same as yourself, for 20-odd years, looking at the evolution of mortgage broking as it was when we first arrived, and looking where we are now, I feel there's time. I think there's an opportunity for a new position for Mortgage Business, and so we're going to change. We're going to change our name. We're going to change our brand, and we're going to kind of change our proposition a little bit.
Okay. Well, I look forward to chatting through it all. It's a big shift, though, is it?
Well, it isn't really. I think it's look at the new brand. Mortgage Business will be changing its name to brokerdaily.com.au or Broker Daily, and I think it's this is really a reflection of it's a jump from Mortgage Business to Broker Daily, and I'm sure that people tuning will be wanting to understand why the change and why the shift. Look, Mortgage Business has always been for brokers, but it's been kind of primarily or exclusively really aimed at that residential broker, because back when we launched it, back in 2007 or however long ago it was very much sort of an oil and water with residential brokers and non-residential brokers. But, through just really the evolution of the industry over the last particularly sort of decade, you've now got really a very robust and a growing cohort of brokers that are diversified in terms of what they offer. They're looking at their customer base very differently, and rather than thinking, I'm a residential broker, I only do residential loans, they're now really looking at sort of holistic solutions to their customers. So I think Broker Daily really recognises and reflects those changes.
Yeah, it's 2007. Is that how long it's been? Mortgage Business?
I know.
God.
Yep, we were sat in that tiny little office on the other side of the road.
That's right.
There were probably 5 of us in there back then. There's still some people here.
Pre-GFC? Just right on the birth?
Just right on the birth of the GFC.
Yeah,
our designer, Dan Burrell, still with us.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a long journey. And we love the industry. We're still there, and we're still as passionate as we ever were. But there's been something else, Phil, which I don't know many people tuning in will be aware, but over the last sort of 5 years or so, we've been in media and journalism for the mortgage industry, but we've kind of we've had an opportunity to actually dip our toe into mortgage broking. Now, we're not mortgage brokers ourselves, but we have backed and invested into a mortgage broking business, because we're passionate about what they do, but also really to kind of live and breathe and understand what the daily role of a broker is. And it has been eye-opening. And from a media perspective, having that window to see how brokers work, what they do, what they deal with on a day-to-day basis is really, really pivotal in terms of shaping how we as a media business deliver content to brokers.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's been a very different lens from which to view mortgage broking, being a director of a mortgage broking company. And even today I'm sort of working up budgeting for the coming financial year at a P&L level, and all the machinations and mechanics of being a mortgage broker, and working really close with our brokers as you do. And we're talking about Finny Mortgages. You can go check the business out if you want, finny.com.au. They're top tier brokers. They're high quality. They're what I would say are the exemplar for mortgage broking in Australia. And we've gone about building that business on I guess, our understanding and knowledge of mortgage broking from a position of being in the media or a large events company. So it's challenged a lot of our perceptions.
It has. And, you know, we know a lot about brokers. We spend a lot of our time talking to brokers over the decades. But having brokers working in our office, and my daughter, who's joined the team, she's a broker for 2 years and worked in Finney. She's now joined us on the media side of the business and has been a big influence in helping us shape the product. But you see how brokers spend their day-to-day, certainly the brokers in Finney. And no real revelation here, but it's good from a media perspective. They deal with customers at any one snapshot in time. They've got people sat in front of them that need a solution, and they deal with product. So they're matching customers with product. And a lot of the noise that we sometimes get caught up in media, you kind of realise that for most brokers, a lot of that is really, when they're busy, which our brokers are, they average 50 mil a year each. We've got 5 brokers in the business. They're productive. They're very, they're sort of pretty prolific in terms of the loans they write. So they are focused on borrower, lender, solution, and finding the right outcome. And I think there's a place, Phil, for us to deliver a product that kind of reflects that particular situation for brokers. And I think there's probably a bit more we can have a little bit more clarity on product, on lender, through brokerdaily.com. I think there's probably a gap where we can kind of focus a little bit more on those particular areas.
I completely agree. And speaking to our brokers and what information they would like in order for them to be better at their jobs has been a bit of a guiding vehicle for how we are shaping Broker Daily. But I'd also say from where we sit and our role within Finney Mortgages is very much around the origination of opportunities for our brokers, and then also the good governance, compliance and operations of a broking business. So what we're able to do, I feel, is get that really nice marriage between the operational cadence of being a mortgage broker and then everything that sits in and around it. And, we've been doing it now for a couple of years. I must admit the regulatory rigor required by all brokers has been eye-opening to me. Just the level of sophistication they need to have as business operators to run functional, effective broking operations has been eye-opening as well. So I'm really excited about Broker Daily because I think what we can do is have a lens from which we can still continue to deliver really top-line quality media products by actually being in the business of mortgage broking.
I think there's an opportunity as well, Phil, to bring this down to grassroots a little bit more. And I would like to see more broker engagement with this brand. With the other media brands and, the Advisor, very important brand, does its job outstandingly well. And I'm not going to change the way the Advisor caters for its particular marketplace. But I think with Broker Daily, I think there is an opportunity. I think there's a gap in the market where there's a lot of talk with the association heads, with very senior people in aggregation, with lenders, all the thought leadership stuff. And I just wonder if there is, well, I don't wonder, I know that there is a really quite a wide gap to actually talk to brokers at the coalface, to address some of the issues that brokers face in the day-to-day, not necessarily sort of in and around some of the bigger things around, legislative threats or royal commissions or, what the big banks may or may not be saying about broker market share and so forth. I think this is really about the day-to-day business of finding the right outcomes for borrowers. I think we'll look and talk to brokers that can add value to the community. And I think also there's a chance to get closer to lenders, to look at innovation, to look at what's shaping policy, product, innovation in that particular sphere, as well as talking to, there's a real emerging cutting edge technology as well. So I think there's a chance to kind of delve into that too. So
we sort of at the start of June. Do you have an official date for the relaunch of mortgage business into Broker Daily? Is it a dedicated date, or is there going to be a month or so of socialising the idea?
Yeah, I think we'll go 1 July.
Okay, it's clean.
I think that what we'll do, when you're on the site, you're going to see just some changes to the site. So we have actually got a brand new site and a brand new nav just to really sort of facilitate the new content, which I'm excited about. We'll see that when it launches properly on the beginning of July. But I think in the run-up, we'll probably socialise the new brand. So you'll see some changes on the website. And I think once we've made the transition, there'll be, just a sort of a presence of Mortgage Business just to show, sort of our... to show subscribers when they're on the platform that it's not a completely new site, that it is an evolution of Mortgage Business. I'm sad to see the back of Mortgage Business as a brand. It's been with us. It's our first brand. But I think that it's. I'm excited about the new brand, and I think it's going to really represent, really sort of where we are right now in terms of mortgage broking.
So with a focus of delivering Broker Daily with an eye towards being a mortgage broker or being in the business of mortgage broking and also publishing, which is a pretty unique position for us to run this from. You mentioned you've got new team members in Liz Whitlock, who's working on the commercial side of Broker Daily. Tell me about the editorial makeup of the team. How are you going to sort of position it and how are you going to delineate it from the advisor?
Yes, good question. So we're going to have a blend of experience in the field of mortgage broking, coupled with a raw and very capable new talent in terms of one of our rising stars in a young man called Jack Campbell. So Jack's going to come across. He's done an absolutely stellar job working on one of our other platforms, HR Leader, which was a trailblazing brand, and has done an amazing job there. And I think he's a young guy. He's in his 20s, and I think he's going to bring really sort of fresh energy to this new brand, and he's a very accomplished editor. He understands how to connect with his audience. He understands how to really identify what the key talking points and the topics. So he'll have a lot of guidance from myself in terms of how I want this brand to deliver to its audience, where I think that the gaps are. So it's going to be very exciting. Yeah,
I think also some of the connected media products or platforms we can have around this, including a podcast with Jack and ourselves, with us with a foot in both camps, mortgage media and also mortgage broking. A lot of people, and I'm sort of relatively new to this podcast, but I'm not. Maybe a Johnny come lately. There was a period of time where I was an editor of a mortgage magazine many years ago.
True, very true indeed. It's where we first started working together.
Yeah. Back in the day.
Here we are again.
Yeah, who would have
20
thought?
years on.
Still in the media and now in mortgage broking.
Still doing what we love.
Yeah. No, it's good. I think it's a great, I don't know if I want to use the word pivot, because that sort of assumes something wasn't working beforehand. What has been working really well is Mortgage Business has been informing and educating mortgage brokers for well over a decade. And I like to, and my job here outside of being on podcasts and now my involvement with Broker Daily, I'm the head of content across the whole of the Momentum Markets business, which gives me a really good sense for how people are connecting and communicating in all the other areas that we operate within. And many of you or might not know that we work across 25 plus major markets in Australia. So we get to see what works elsewhere. And we can manoeuvre and deliver new ways for us to connect and communicate and inform and shape the markets that we operate within. But there's some pretty cool stuff also happening in the media outside of what's happening in mortgage business right now, which I think we can really inject into Broker Daily as well, just to keep connected and consistent. And we want to build this as mortgage brokers. Are we in the business of mortgage broking first and media second, Alex?
Steady on, Phil.
Are we media or
neither you or I are mortgage brokers.
No.
Let's be really crystal clear on that. We just now have we've got a stake in a mortgage broking business, which is very, very valuable for us to see. We love mortgage broking. The reason why we're here, everyone who's tuning in knows, is because I got my first loan ever when the banks completely made a mess of everything from a broker. It saved my life back in 1998. That's why we're still here today. So we're the media, but we're the media with a difference, because we're the media with an actual, we understand broking, we love broking, but we have that real insight into broking, and it's kind of cleared away a bit of the fog, helps us cut through the noise a little bit. Phil, we launched a very successful media brand for property investors back in 2009, something in that
Thereabouts,
region. And
yeah.
and when we set out to do that, Phil, I'd been investing in property for quite some time. You hadn't bought, and the first thing we said is if we're going to be giving guidance to property investors, then we damn well better know what we're doing. So we started building a portfolio. You and me put our own dough into it, and we've still got it today. And so that really shaped smart property investment. And you host an extremely small podcast with just a couple of 100,000, I think, tune in every time for that. So, but it's because we've built it around being investors, understanding property investment rather than just spouting hot air. Now, this is a bit different with Broker Daily. We're not mortgage brokers, but you know what? We've just got a bit of an insight into how how brokers deal with the day-to-day, how they deliver the best outcomes for their customers, but really about what it is that they want to hear about on a daily basis. And then we can start to really deliver that news through Broker Daily. So, yeah, look, that's the proposition. We hope it goes well. We think it will. Has done historically. So what's next for us? So I think it'll be business as usual up until July. So everyone keep an eye out for that 1 July when it ticks over. We'll be starting to introduce Jack to the brand. I think it's just a really exciting blend of some grey hair with you and me, with really young talent, passion, energy. I know Jack's going to throw himself into the industry. I've seen how well he's done in HR. And I tell everybody about what it's like for me. Media for mortgage broking, for the mortgage industry, for the third-party distribution channel. We've got 20-odd different brands. There's nothing like it. It's an industry that is warm, friendly, honest, compassionate. And I tell journalists about how good it is to work in this industry. So I'm excited to see Jack actually start to get involved with many of our old friends, and indeed many of the new emerging people in the industry, brokers, lenders, across the board. So yeah, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun.
Okay, so watch your space. No doubt more announcements to come. I've seen some of the editorial initiatives that are being worked up, which I think will be quite topical, but also interesting for our listeners and our readers. So lots for us to cover off, but this is just very much introducing the new brand.
We'll see you soon.